All right, we're underway here with the step ladder finally. Our first match will be our number 5 seed, Chad Nelson. He'll be going against the number 4 seed, Carl Polzer. Both Carl and his dad made the top 5 step ladder here today. We are just in the beginning stage of practice here, so 2 shots on each lane for each player. Again, those just jumping on. Number 5 seed Chad Nelson against number 4 seed Carl Polzer will be our first match. 3 seed will be AJ Chapman waiting in the wings here. And then we'll have number 2 seed Nate Waldhauser and number 1 seed Clark Polzer. Hi, Cheryl. Sorry to confuse you guys earlier starting a live feed. That was just a position round match. Sorry, Michelle. I know you saw Dan on that, but Dan did not make the top 5. He ended up 6th. I was trying a new microphone that obviously did not work, so we'll just call microphone number 7 a failed experiment. We'll go back to the old trusty cheap one that's seeming to work well but just isn't as comfortable. But anyways, again, if you're just jumping on, 2 shots each lane here for each player. Number 5 seed Chad Nelson be going against number 4 seed Carl Polzer in our first match. I believe that was the last shot for each player, so we should definitely be underway. Thank you. All right, so Carl is the higher seed here. We'll see whether he wants to start first or finish first. Already, you bet. No pain.
No gain.
You're welcome, Michelle. Sorry about that. The rest of our top 10 were previously mentioned. Dan Bach shooting .257 his last game. So with the bonus, he made a run for it. Just came up a tad shy of the step ladder. 7th, Eric Schott. 8th, Tyler Kleinepeer, making his first match play appearance in a CBA. 9th, Dave Ullman. And 10th, Ron Kish. All right, first frame for Chad starts off with a strike. We use the Kegel pattern red square. That is 40 feet with a 1-to-1 ratio, so as flat as it gets. It was extremely ugly all the way through the qualifying and all the way through the match play today. Took minus 32 to make the cut into today's match play. As we see Carl missing a little wide right. Well, England, I guess, man, I don't know what I'd put the line at, but Carl started off the day 258. He did have a hiccup on 27 and 28, which will be our championship match pair. It proved to be one of the toughest pairs in the rotation through qualifying yesterday and match play today. So after a 169 on that pair, he went 249. Didn't look that good through the transitioning stages, but shot 230 last game. So I think the betting line might be closer than what you actually were thinking when you typed that out. But we'll see what happens. 6 spare for Carl. Both Polsers make the stepladder today. Clark is the number 1 seed, as Carl makes perfect for both of them on that left lane. Actually, everyone is in the top 5. Yep. Yeah, for those of you at home, hoping that the bet you win was going to carry over. The carryovers have stopped. All 5 players in the stepladder are in for the full amount on the bet you win. So that $1,655 will get half paid out today. Big double by Nelson to start the match. Well, I don't think he'd probably choose to throw it any differently. Great shot by Chad. Flushes an 8-pin. England, I'd agree. The Nook is calling. All right, easy spare. Tough break there for Chad. Pretty flawless execution. Well, let's see if Carl can take advantage of the opening that was given him. That's his second time missing right on that lane. 210. This one's going to be a little more costly probably, unless he has a great attempt at the spare here. Yep, taking just the 2 only. That's going to give Carl 48 in the third. Chad has 49 in the second. Spare working in the third. So advantage Nelson at this point for sure. And then he set that one a little bit short. Projected the last one on that lane a little bit more. Fortunate, good 9 count. Leaving just the 10 pin. Hi, Deb. Hold on. All right. Well, we'll see if Chad can start closing it off here. He's looked pretty much perfect through these first 3 frames. That 8-pin in the third frame definitely was a really good shot. So. Yeah, doesn't get the carry, light 7. So as I mentioned, minus 32 to make the cut to today's match play. Brady Stearns was our extra casher. We cashed 11 spots, took 10 into today's match play. As we see Nelson make easy work, a little sticky, but easy work of that 7-pin. So Brady was the 11th place finisher at minus 43, so it took minus 43 to cash, minus 32 to make the cut. Again, red square was the pattern, 40 feet, 1-to-1 ratio, so as flat of a pattern as you can get. Chad working on a spare, 20-pin lead. All right, Carl stepping up on the right lane here will be looking to strike to keep that lead only at 20. Anything less than that, Chad's lead will go into the 30s. Thanks again, Runner Car.
Let me know anything else.
Okay, we'll do, for sure. Thanks. Well, that one was better than the last two, yeah. 2 in a row he had gotten wide right on that lane. That one he kept in play. Keeps the lead just at 20. A lot of friction on the panels here at Concord, so qualifying saw everything, the gutter, deep, and of course they got pretty ugly, being attacked from all different directions. Today they did shape a little better. Everybody kind of started in that track area, as we see Carl leave a 2-8. He definitely doesn't have a very comfortable look on this pair. Anyways, a lot of friction on these panels, so I think everyone came in today. First, you have a lot of the guys that just played them a little more correctly yesterday. But they all played a little more together, moved in together. So they definitely played a little nicer today. Some bigger scores today than we saw yesterday. We see Carl convert the 2-8 there. They bounce really well here, Dan. Most pairs right of, well, about right here, 21 bounce really well. Big double for Nelson, extending his lead to 30. There's definitely no lack of bounce in the mid to upper bank here at Concord. Kind of reminds me of the old Midway, middle of the house, 15, 16, 17 area. All right, Chad looking to put his foot down a little bit here, see if he can get a 3-bagger. Yeah, he keeps his foot on the gas here. That's 3. He's got 118 in the 5th, so that's a 30-pin lead over Carl, who's got 88 in the 5th. Working on a spare in the 6th. Yes, Mike, this is the 4-seed Carl Pulser 5-seed Chad Nelson match. Well, another better shot on the right lane for Carl. This time, though, a little high, leaving the 4. All right. Easy work of the 4-pin. Our whole league just quit. All right, so Carl's got 107 in the 6th. Chad's got 118 in the 5th and a double after. At this point, yep, Carl needs that one and the rest. And some help as well. I don't know how fortunate he's going to be on the begging for help side, as Chad looks pretty locked in. 3rd frame left a really good shot, 8-pin. 4th frame, light 7-pin. Everything else has been flush for him. He looks pretty comfortable on this pair. A little chilly in here, but 5-pin left. The 7 might have been a little slow getting out of there too. Everybody at home with their hands in the air, hoping for a free beverage. Not this time. A little more room. Also, I think a titch less speed. He had been a little more firm with it. That one, he kind of slowed down, gave it a little more shape. It's almost there. All right, 127 in the 7th with a strike working for Carl here. Oh, he set that one short, but he's going to get the break. Brooklyn double. You know, 217 is the max he can get. Chad's already got 187 in the 8th, a strike in the 9th. Chad's going at the 230 to 240 pace, so barring disaster. Well, fortunate again, crumbling a whole bunch down. Ending up with just a 6-pin standing. Yeah, Sully, today we're using the USB-C rules. So unfortunately, yeah, that actually counts as a double. But yeah, normally that would be 9 spare for Brooklyn. Legislation underway to actually have the strike before it turned into a 9 spare as well, if you double making it or if you Brooklyn making it a double. So we'll see how that turns out. But at the moment, that Brooklyn still gives him a double, so we'll keep the score unchanged. Chad will move on. He'll advance to meet the number 3 seed A.J. Chapman. 196 finishing score for Carl. The only open for him was that 210 that he left, but he never really had much of a good look. He kind of struggled throughout the whole match with over-under reaction. Chad looks very locked in, very comfortable. Another light 7 there. Going to put him into the 230s. I don't think it's going to quite get there. It was a good effort. 235 to 196. Final score. And I'm sorry, I misspoke. Number 3 seed Nate Waldhauser. I didn't have my notes directly in front of me. Number 3 seed Nate Waldhauser. AJ Chapman is our number 2 seed today. So Chad advancing to the next match to meet Nate. We're going to move the camera 1 pair to the right. Players are going to get 2 shots on each lane. And Nate will get the choice of starting first or finishing first. Give us a second to move it over. We'll be right back. Nate, you are way in the way.
I got a bowl, Jason.
Yeah, I know it. Hey, Chris. Yes, sir. Is there a chance we could, like, get the... Yeah, thank you.
Is there an actual prize fund?
Yeah, it's on the...
Is it
yeah,
there?
yeah. It was up all day.
That's, I can't read it.
Michelle said it's really good. She texted me. That's what she said. That's yeah, she said it's really good.
Better? Wait, thank you. Remember what you did to that pencil? That's what I just did to that.
Yeah, hey, can't your IT guy, your teammate, get you hooked up with something that'll work?
Microphone to use somewhere?
Have you talked to Payne?
No.
Never noticed what a worthless guy he is?
Well,
Oh, that's on the mic. Cheryl, I will absolutely pass the message along to him. Those of you that have been waiting, this is practice 4. Our number 3 seed Nate Waldhauser will be going against the number 5 seed Chad Nelson. Chad made it past Carl Polzer, 235 to 196 last match. These guys are just finishing up their 2 shots on each lane, and we'll get underway. Nate'll have the choice of whether he wants to start the match first or finish the match first as the higher seed. Waiting in the wings still in the semifinal match will be AJ Chapman, our number 2 seed. And the dream of a father-son finals was shattered by Chad last match. Waiting in the wings, number 1 seed after that will be Clark Polzer. Clark had mentioned to me earlier he was hoping that Carl would make it into the step ladder to begin with and then make a little bit of a run so that they could meet each other in the finals, kind of a dream of his. Cheryl says, good luck, loosen up.
Tell her I'll need it.
And she's heading to the girls' dance recital, so she won't watch. Good luck, loosen up.
I'll try to make the second recital. That's okay.
He says he'll make the second recital if you're still watching there, Cheryl. Newman, I got to admit, it might have a different shop's name on the front, but I've always liked the Argyle shirts. They look sharp.
How do you erase frame?
I got it.
Hit the erase frame button. Yeah. You're starting? All right. Nate has chosen to have Chad start the match, so Chad will be up on the left lane here in a second. It's pretty sad when the oldest guy standing around is the one that knows how to actually clear them things out. That's pre your technology. It's not a grease pencil and an overhead. All right, we're underway here. First shot. Little short. Yeah, baby split. Definitely set that one a little short. Oh, little chop, only getting the one. Nate had led match play for a large portion of the day today. Kind of had a look nobody else had. Went 194, 210, 234, 246, 221, 212 before he finally had his first sub 190 game at 189 in game 7. So definitely had a really good look most of the day, but as you can see, his roll not as quite as much down lane motion, not as much angle, and so the deeper he's had to go, it is definitely starting to favor some of the players that can get a little more angle down lane. Of course, Clark's just an anomaly, so that puts him in the lead. Well, we're going to be all square after one. Nate chopping the 6 off of the 10. All right, let's start it all over. Now 2-5 left. I'm definitely not going to say that he can't do it, but I've not seen Nate get this deep with the loft. I'm not quite sure how, consistent he is with it. It is definitely a learned talent. You'll see, I'm sure, a little bit later on. AJ will probably be in that deep high rev rate that he's got. Look out. All right. Chad definitely has a lot of skill being in that deep and being consistent. So we'll see. We'll see if Nate can make consistent shots being in there. Like I said, not saying he can't do it, just haven't seen it out of him much. So this will be interesting. Chad, after chopping the baby split, up in the second. Yeah, better shot for sure. Yep. Projected that one a lot better. Yeah, another better shot. Yeah, in a little. Not nearly as short as the one before it. Not enough, though. Leaves the 9 pin. You could definitely see he wanted that one. Easy spare. $29 in the second for Chad. Spare up in the third. Nate had 9. Chopping the 6 off the 10 in the first. Spare up in the second. Stepping up in the third frame here. Yep, not quite getting there. It's been brought up before, the amount of bounce that are in some of the panels here, so I don't know how much of that is the fact that Nate might have missed a little bit right on that and not had any recovery. Some of it could have been the bounce in the panels. Some of it could be not as much experience being quite this deep as well. 1-2-5 remaining. All right, good conversion. $26 in the second. Spare up in the third. So down by 3 at the moment. Much better shot. A little too early and too much hook. 3-6 remaining. Good tournament. You bet. Definitely no spare a gimme here. Perfectly over the thumb hole for the conversion. All right, Chad made a great shot here on this right lane. Last time up on it. Let's see if he can repeat that. Yeah, that was another good shot. And that one doesn't quite get there. Well, I'm sure he made a little move, as all of the players are doing pretty much every shot now. 10 games of match play on him. Definitely a hole burned into most of the pairs. 2-8 remaining for Chad. Good spare. Well, that keeps it at a 3-pin lead for Chad. Both players with spares in the fourth frame. Definitely anybody's match at this point. The winner will advance to meet our number 2 seed, AJ Chapman, in the semifinal match. Winner of that will meet Clark Polzer in the finals. Fifth frame, not good. Well, fortunate to have a 5-pin left. No player really having much of a great look. I do think Chad's look is better. But of course the execution has to be there. I'm sure he would tell you he wasn't very happy with that last shot. All right, let's see if Nate can get something started here. Again, Nate led for most of the day today during the match play portion. Lost it a little bit down the stretch here as he's gotten forced in. Pretty good shot. Fortunate to trip the 4 out of the 4-9, leaving just the 9-pin. But he had a very good look throughout all of the day, and a look that most others didn't have. His role combined with, equipment choice, where he was playing the lanes. He had a long stretch, about a 7-game stretch, where he looked really tough to beat. Good spare there. Those of you just joining us, red square was the pattern for the weekend. Kept scores extremely low. Our qualifying to make match play score was -32. To cash was -43. So they were very difficult this weekend. A little nicer today. Everybody playing together a little bit more. Made them open up a little bit nicer, but you can see now it's late in the day. There's a lot of friction on the panels here at Concord, a lot of bounce to the panels. Yeah, that was set just a titch short. Six, 7, 10 for Nate. Get 2 of them at least. Yep, he does. Gets the count. It's going to give him 89 in the 6th. So Chad does have the opportunity to step up here and kind of put his foot down a little bit. But so far it doesn't look like anybody's comfortable enough on this pair to really take too much advantage of anything. Pretty good shot. There you go. Hold on to your drinks at home, but we have got our chance at the first double of this match. Oh, there it is. Our first double of the match. Well, after that double, it is definitely time for Nate to pull it up by the bootstraps. He needs to get it started and right away. All right, there's the first one. Well, let's see if Chad started a trend. Maybe both players can find their way to a double. Oh, that looked in. Oh! Well, Sully, if you're still watching, we still have the USBC rules in effect. That is a Brooklyn double. Another good shot by Chad, three-bagger. So even with the double now by Nate, again Nate's 89 in the sixth with a double up. Chad's got 86 in the fifth, so he's going to be, what do we got, 116. And so he's 27 pin lead. Yeah, you could tell he didn't like that one much. Full bucket. Oh, all four of them. He's got it. Well, it is still a possibility. Nate off the sheet is 209. Chad strike spare or spare strike is 202. So even though he's still in the driver's seat, Nate has a fighter's chance.
Yeah, baby.
That's a big three-bagger there. The last two on that right lane for Nate have looked really good. We'll see what he can do on this left lane. 10th frame, too. Tough lane for him to have to end on. He has struggled on it. The 8th frame in the middle of this three-bagger was a Brooklyn, so it's not like he's overly confident on his last shot on this lane. Nonetheless, he is working on a three-bagger and is still alive in the match. No. Another one that looked very similar to the last one. Looks like he tried to give it just a little more speed. And that wasn't enough on the amount of friction that's out there now. It's if you see reaction like that going Brooklyn, it's closer to probably an entire area code move left and more loft. That'll do a lot more than just speed right now. Needs to pick this up. He's got the spare. I guess I said that before I did the math on it. Debbie, this would be the number 3 seed versus the number 5 seed. So we still have AJ to meet in the semifinals next match. Clark will be waiting in the finals for whoever wins that. 186 for Nate. $172. About 7. Eight count for the win. Well, it's 7, so it's not a guarantee. We're at a tie right now. All right, 1 pin out of this. Keep it pretty much right at him. And Chad will advance. That'll be good. There's plenty. Plenty would agree with you. You should have done that on the first.
We were discussing it.
Yeah, that would have done her on the first one. A little extra drama. 198, 186. Chad does advance. So he will meet AJ Chapman in our semifinal match. Going to move the camera over to the next pair. Each player will get 2 shots on each lane, and we'll be back with you in a minute. Stay with us. You know, some people see it different than that. By some, I mean most. Eric, could you do me a favor and move like all of Clark's stuff? I just need room to go right in the middle. Yeah, that'll do it. Thank you. Need a chair? No worries, thanks.
You don't come over here?
I will in a second. Yeah, thanks. I don't need to be. That looks pretty close. Well, I haven't had to yet, but it's connected, so.
You mean move? Want me to move over?
You know, if you don't mind, yeah, just so I can be a little more straight on. Thank you. Plenty good. I gave Lumpy $70.
Yeah, I said
Friday.
I
Okay.
just want to give you a check, just put it in my envelope.
Yeah, cash. Yeah, I paid him cash.
Well,
Cold hard cash.
That's gone.
That's
Mom's
why.
gonna pay me in a check.
That's why I'm telling everybody involved that I paid. Then it doesn't turn into, what do you mean? I never saw
I
him.
didn't get nothing.
No, he didn't show up on Friday. It looks like these guys are ready. Clearing them out. AJ, the higher seed, he'll get the choice of starting first or finishing first. Oh, I guess not. I guess I thought when they were clearing scores out it meant something, but I was definitely wrong. Well, I'll take the opportunity to say AJ made the cut at minus 15. That number looks a little skewed. He had 138 in game 9. So Chad led qualifying, and he led it by a mile. He was plus 223 for qualifying. He was the only person to hit triple digits. So second place was Clark, who is our number 1 seed in the step ladders here. He got plus 99. So Chad definitely had the best look of anybody throughout the whole weekend. All right, now they're done. AJ has chosen to start the match, so we are underway. All right, trip and a 4. Starting the match off with a strike. So back to qualifying. AJ had been at 140-ish through most of the qualifying. And then had a stretch of 170, 130, and 190 down the stretch. So he had been also in the 3 digits. All right, both players perfect through 1. Again, this is our semifinal match. Number 5 seed Chad Nelson has ran the ladder to this point, beating Carl Polzer in the first match, 235 to 196, and then sneaking past on a tricky pair of 23 and 24, sneaking past Nate Waldhauser, 198 to 186. Well, this pair looks a little bit better than the last pair. Our championship match will be contested on what was the ugliest pair both days. So this will be an interesting finals in our next match. Average score through the first 3 matches today on 27 and 28 were about 150. So both players perfect through 2. All right, third frame, working on a double. Another good shot. Not enough to get that 7 pin to go. But easy work of the spare. So 49 in the second for Chapman, spare up in the third. To this point, Nelson perfect through the first 2. Well, and we're going to be all square. Each player leaving a corner pin in the third. Chad a 10, AJ a 7. As long as Chad can convert, we'll be all square through 3. And we are. Ethan, I don't think the pattern necessarily broke down any faster today. I would definitely say that you had everybody playing more together today. They started the day, nobody at the gutter. We had a fair amount of that yesterday. Nobody deep inside. So I think yesterday it might have had the look and feel like it held longer, but I think they were uglier and squirrelier because of it. Everybody coming every different direction at it. Today, everybody that came in pretty much started right around the track area, migrated in. It was 10 games of match play, so they do have quite a few games on them at this point. And I just think that everybody started together, played them together. So, anyways, I would agree, they're definitely deeper than most got yesterday. Eighth pin for AJ. Yeah, I know. No, but it's hard to get that spare ball to shape very well. It just seems, and we'll see what happens. To be honest, heading down match play, position round 27 and 28 actually garnered some pretty good games. It's just through the whole day yesterday, they were really ugly through match play today. 27 seemed like if once you got into a certain point, you couldn't get it right of the head pin. It would just pick up in the mid lane too much. And then if you tried to play the same part of the lane on 28, you could never get a ball to shape. So we'll see what actually happens in the championship match. A little too much ball again for AJ. He's got the 3-6 in front of him. Good conversion. A little scared for a second. All right, Chad working on a strike and the lead up against that ball return. Hold. Yeah. Just a 10 pin. Fortunate crossing over. Good conversion we have got. A 3-pin lead for Nelson. 89 in the fourth with a spare to Chapman's 86 in the fourth with a spare. I guess I should say both players spares in the fifth. So we are in the sixth frame. Chad looking to keep that lead. Get the 7? Yep. Good shot. You can see him kind of hip check that. Hoping it had enough drive down lane. Chad using a ball that's got a little bit of surface to it. A little smoother reaction, a little tighter line. AJ using the winner from Roto Grip. Got some shine to it. Definitely more angle. AJ a higher rev rate as well. Through 6, Nelson with a 3-pin lead. Both players working on a strike. Not enough to wiggle the 8 out of there. Leaving the door open for Nelson to be able to extend that 3-pin lead. Easy spare for Chapman. All right, Nelson working on a strike here. Tied up against the return, looking to extend. He's got a 3-pin lead. Turn it into 13. Wiggle, yes. That was a big double. See if he can turn 13 into 23. Bounce on that panel. Oh, he still got the carry. Well, that definitely puts the pressure on Chapman. He's going to need to start striking here. Up in front of the ball return. Compact approach. Yeah, a little short on that. Greek Church, yep, full Greek Church left. Looked like he tried to get that move in, but then ended up being more parallel than creating any more angle. He needed to open that up when he moved in as well. He's going to need to get a bunch of these for sure. Oh, well. Max of 207 for Chapman at this point. Nelson going at 230 soft pace. A couple more in a row in towards the 250s. So Chapman's going to need them all, and he's going to need a bunch of help. Yeah. The more lefter he got, the more harder they got. No, we saw it earlier, and I mentioned that this finals coming up will be interesting because 27 played a lot like what we just saw there on 25 as he takes the 10 only. But the more you got to the left, the more you had to find a way to trick the ball to get through the middle. You know, you kind of touch the holes, and it was definitely going to grab in the mid lane and never even get right of the head. Now, fortunate to not have the 4-9, just the 9 only. But that is enough already for the win. That is all Chad needed right there. That puts him 187 as it stands without anything else. AJ Max is at 186. Chad will definitely advance. It'll just depend upon by how much. But he will advance to meet our number 1 seed, Clark Polzer, in the finals. Some would say the 5-7 was late. Chad would say it's a strike. Again, for those of you just joined us, we used red square for a pattern this weekend. Extremely difficult, 40 feet, 1-to-1 ratio, a little over 25 mils. These panels definitely have some wear on them. They hook a bunch. Chad will be in the 230s with that strike. So definitely a difficult go of it for everybody. It only took minus 32 to make the top 10 cut to match play today. That was a round robin, 10 games of match play. 235 final score for Chad. We'll let AJ go through the motions here, but 180 is the most he can get to, 186. So they were definitely difficult. Also, for those of you following the Bet You Win situation, it looks like, sad but true, it will get paid out. All 5 that were in the step ladder were in the full amount for the Bet You Win. So the Bet You Win will definitely get paid out this month. That was $1,655 available. So 50% of that will go out in this next match, guaranteed. Yeah, correct, Steve. AJ threw the winner through this entire match. Nelson was throwing an IQ Tour Solid that has 757 games on it. Now 758. 173 final score for AJ. So 235, 173 final score. Again, we'll be moving one pair to the right. Please stay with us. Just going to move the camera over. There will be 2 shots. It's actually not a joke, Steve. If you asked him, he'd tell you it has like hundreds of games on it. He loves that ball, and he loves the fact that the more games it got, the more it mellowed out. Keeps him out of trouble for sure. Anyways, we'll move over one pair. 2 shots on each for each player. We'll be right back with the final match. Again, Clark Polzer, number 1 seed, versus Chad Nelson, the number 5 seed, who to this point has ran the ladder through Carl Polzer, Nate Waldhauser, and AJ Chapman. Well, the iPad was $1,200. You take that out of the mix. You got free headphones and a $20 keyboard if I have to respond, and a $40 tripod. Facebook. Yeah, that's not bad except for the one piece.
Yeah. Where?
Happened yesterday. take the first photo. That's what I use to take the photos for the qualifying sheets and stuff. And yeah, had one crack, but by the end of the day, the other two had struggled. Yeah.
I couldn't see it until you pointed. I could see it.
Until my wife reminded me that I took the insurance. That was the first time I've ever done that, and well worth it. It's still like 150, I think, to replace it, but that's, well, I called the cell phone repair people yesterday to see what the screen would be to replace, because that would be cheaper than a new one. It was $330, and in my mind I'm going, well, that's better than $1,200. But $150 is better than $330, so I'll take that. Thank you.
Jason, I'll get that stuff out of here.
Damn right you will.
It wouldn't be a CBA if my shit was in the way, right?
Yeah, whether you're like here or not.
I'm glad I come in.
If for nothing else, just the humor factor, right? Oh, that's my hand. Cheryl's back. She must have heard that Chad's winning. I can't get this right in the middle. There we go. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Cheryl. That's very true. Aaron, Eric says hi. Good talk.
Here's your juice.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you. You got it. That's okay. We get more advertising dollars this way. I mean, we need to find some advertisers, but once we do, I mean, we get. We're yeah, Red Square for life. All right, those just joining, this is our championship match. Number 1 seed, Clark Bolzer, going against what was the number 5 seed, Chad Nelson. Chad has run the ladder to this point.
I think they're taking signs for a few of them.
Clark, the higher seed, chose to start. That is our first shot. Going Brooklyn and carrying. Not a very common Clark Pulser shot, but anyways, Chad has run the ladder to this point. He got through Carl Pulser, 235 to 196. Then he snuck past Nate Waldhauser, 198 to 186. A pretty solid victory last match, 235 to 173 over A.J. Chapman. And here we are in the finals. Yeah, all square through one, both players striking. Clark came on extremely strong in the last 3 games. Shot about 715, 718 through the last 3, winning all 3, so 90 bonus. So he went up about 200 pins in the last 2. Hey, Sully's back. You're right, Sully. USBC rules again, though. It has to count. Well, I had mentioned it last match as kind of a preview of coming attractions. 27 and 28 has been a brutal pair for both days. Just like what you saw, 27, if you touch the ball, if you touch the holes a little bit, this deep, just going to have a really hard time even thinking of getting the ball to project right of the head pin. And every player that tried to give it a little extra speed, a little extra loft, anything, never found any kind of shape or reaction. So, be interesting to see how this progresses. Well, he found a way to go Brooklyn on the first, and then Karma comes right back in the second, throwing a good shot on this right lane, leaving the 10 pin. Good spare by Clark. We're all square. 20 in the first. Both players working on a spare in the second. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, I saw your post. I hope all is well. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you're feeling better. All right, back-to-back 9-count spares for Clark. 1 10-pin conversion, 1 4-pin conversion. Good shot on what I'll call the easy lane. I don't know that we would say any of these in the house at this point are easy, but the right lane is definitely, I think, going to prove to be nicer than what the left lane is. Again, I mentioned it a bit ago, but middle part of 27 is just fried, and trying to get the ball to go through there is really difficult. Oh, big double. That is a big double. So I tried adding former director Tom Corbett into the camera, something that Facebook Live hasn't offered before, but I read his comment and they gave me the option to try to add him. Unfortunately, it didn't work to remotely add him into the telecast, but he brought up, Clark being the oldest bowler to win a title. I'm not positive. Tom is definitely the walking statistician of the CBA. I would have to look it all up, but I believe in hearing from Tom before, Clark has already won in the 2010s. And I believe that makes it 5 decades, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010s that he's won a title. So 5 decades of winning a title. So whether he wins or not here, obviously one of the best senior players around, and that's nationwide. Clark does very well in the high rollers across the country. All of the national events for seniors, but to be able to be competitive against those that are half his age is awful impressive. Big double there for Clark. Almost as if on cue, keeping the match to within 10 pins. All right, 2-4-5 for Chad. I don't know if you could hear it on the telecast, but he begged for 3 when he let go of that. No spares a given, and I certainly think he missed inside a little bit on that one. We've seen Chad's plastic ball hooking a fair amount at most of the spares he's thrown at through most of the late afternoon or late part of the match play, I should say. So 87 in the 4th for Nelson with a spare in the 5th. And this is back to being an extremely tight match. Almost the same shot. Well, a lot better break, though. Eight pin only. And there's that 5-6 boards of hook you could see right there on Chad's. Oh, my bad, Tom. Yeah. Clark's first title was in August of 1980 at Midway, so 4 decades. If only he would have won in December of 79 instead. there's that same 245 that Chad just left over there. Same, both players begging to get all three on their 245 spares on that right lane. We are back to where we were a bit ago, all square through 6. Well, all square through 5, both players working on a spare in the 6th. Good shot by Clark there. He definitely got a little more under and around that one, a little spinnier with it. That certainly helped get through the big hook spot in the middle of 27. Okay, so both players on this right lane left the 245. Let's see what Chad does here. Working on the Sperry's up in the 7th. Gonna roll it. Roll it. Yeah, right in front of it. Easy conversion for Chad. Oh, get up. And again, kind of like I prefaced last match, the players that tried to find a way to gas it through the middle part of 27 found themselves more often than not looking at exactly this, maybe a 2.810 or 2.10, but very similar. Try to get through the friction spot. And it usually meant no reaction at all. Tough break there for Chad. Well, Clark now in the driver's seat for sure. Pretty good shot there. Oh, wow. Well, we just won't say much there. It's a pretty good shot. Extremely tough pair and another bad break. 8:10 left. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, I think it was on one of Chad's shots. I'm pretty sure Clark would take that shot over again and feel like throwing it pretty much the same way. But that does bring us back to just a 5-pin match with 2 frames to go. So
This is definitely still anybody's match to win, anybody's title to win. If Clark wins, he will take the USBC Senior Masters spot. If Chad wins, he will take the USBC Masters spot, as the winner does get a paid entry into the National Masters tournament of their choice. Yeah, you see Clark start to walk it out, and then he saw it go a little extra down lane, and I think he realized it wasn't going to quite be enough. Peters out a little bit, kind of a flat 10. I think he tricked that one pretty much like he did the last one. Just couldn't quite get it to turn the same way, went a little further. But I do believe Clark is going to be pretty happy that he's not finishing on 27. Advantage of being the higher seed and deciding which lane you want to start and finish on. This could come into play for sure in this match. We'll see how Chad navigates the 9th and 10th here. 209 maximum. Trips that 4. That was huge. So it sets up like this. Clark has got 204 maximum available to him. Chad has got 209. A double here in the 10th. Decent pin count. And Chad will shut Clark out and will win the 2018 CBA Masters. There's one. One more and count, and he will shut him out. Yeah, dead 10. Still alive. Match not over yet. Conversion year 198 for Chad. $198 it is. All right. Clark must double to have a chance here. Must have the first two. Well, that'll be it. Chad Nelson will win the 2018 CBA Masters. He will have a paid entry into the National USBC Masters Tournament coming up here in a few months. I think it's title number 3,742 for Chad. Very respectable match. $198 to $190. Chad Nelson is, again, your 2018 CBA Masters champion, winning the title and a paid entry into the National USBC Masters Tournament. For everybody watching, thank you very much for watching us. Some great matches. Thanks to Concord Lanes for hosting us. I will be live streaming finals or final few matches at minimum of the Minnesota Masters coming up on December 30th. Typically have 85 to 100 and some entries in that. So there should be some exciting matches coming down the stretch there. Winner of that will also get a paid entry into the 2019 USBC Masters Tournament. Corby, I apologize. 3,642 was a little high. It is title number 36 for Chad Nelson. I also believe, again, I don't have the stats, but Chad would tell you in the 30s for his second. Or seconds, I mean, he's got 30-some seconds. So obviously quite the accomplished bowler and has been in probably more finals than any other CBA bowler. Fun to watch. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next month.